We need more good fights like that. So shout out for Darius for stepping up and doing that, man.
Darius,
H
what up,
Town,
champ?
H Town in the building.
What's going on, my guy? You good, brother?
Oh man, can't complain. Thank God for that. How about yourself?
Yeah, I say exactly the same, bro. I can't complain either, man. Life good.
Word. Good to hear it. Good to hear it, man. I wanted to have you on. You know, we certainly don't throw our fighters away at the loss, man. And you know, that was a tough fight, but it was a good fight. I'm sure you got some experience out of that. Just wanted to touch with you and you know, see where you're at. How was that fight, and when do you think you're coming back?
Man, I want to come back as soon as possible. I just got out here to LA last night. Um, so I'll be at the fight this weekend. So hopefully I'll be able to talk to Golden Boy, get a little idea on when next time I get back in the ring. But um, yeah, it was honestly for real for a great experience though. You know, learned a lot really from the fight. Um, I mean, it took me like kind of a while to process everything. You know, a fight I felt like I won, but ultimately I say it is what it is. It was a great learning experience for me. I think anybody kind of watching that fight too would know that skill wise too. Like I think I was the better fighter, but I lack still kind of like a lot of experience. You recognize the moments in fights like that. It'll be like the small moments that mean the most in a fight. Like the little moments that carry over. So it was a fight I needed for my career, man. And I think I'm excited to kind of keep going and do this journey to becoming a world champion.
I gotta ask about the game plan. I'm glad it hit me because I've been wanting you on. Why? Why were you fighting with your hands down? Like, what was it that you saw that you like? You know what? I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm just to me, right? Outside looking in, he's your toughest opponent till date, and you decided to fight with such bravado. Why'd you throw caution to the wind on a fight you needed to get the win on?
I know it was honestly the big problem in that fight. Honestly was just ego. Coming into that fight, and this is really like is a whole culmination of my whole life story. I'm fighting a guy named Beck the Bully. I never liked bullies, bro. Never did. Throughout my whole life growing up, I never felt like I was able to stand up for myself. I remember like from sixth grade on, I had a New Year's resolution every year. I was like, oh yeah, this year, bro, I need you to, stand up for yourself. Could never do it. Seventh grade on, eighth grade, kept the same thing. So once I started boxing really changed my life like that. And I felt like every time I stepped into the ring, like I never allowed anybody to push me around like that. And so now coming into this fight, everything kind of come full circle, where just my ego got involved, where I was like, I'm not finna allow this dude to push me back. They think this guy's tough, blah blah blah. I want to show the world that like I'm not no sucker like that, and I can stand up for myself. And so it was just more of an ego thing, bro. Like anytime he hit me with a shot, I was like, that wasn't shit, and I stepped forward. And
What
so
was your corner saying though? Because round after round, you coming back. I mean, is he telling you like, yo? Because I don't watch it. I'm always live when I watch the fights, talking to my
right,
audience, so I don't even get to hear what your trainer is saying. But I'm just like, why are you doing this? And
yeah, yeah,
did
yeah.
he like give you instructions to try to change up the game plan, or he just let you do your thing?
Yeah, no, no, no. He did. I mean, the big thing. I remember him kept telling me the most during that fight was about, you know, the most time that Beck was having his success was going to the southpaw orthodox is different. I don't know my bad. It was him going to the right, to my left side. And it was about me going to my left and taking that away from him. That was most time he had success just with his feet and cutting those angles. And but really, that was the big problem in the fight was I was just coming straight forward. I was coming straight forward. And so big learning thing for me too in that fight was I remember after each round when we go into the corner, coach would give me great instructions and I would do it and I'd do it for like the first like 20 seconds, like very early beginning of the round. And the boom, I snap to it and I go kind of right back to being stubborn, back to my old ways. He remind me in the corner next round. I'll do it again very early and I'll kind of go right back to it. So and my coach did a great job, gave me great instructions just on me, to get out of my head to listen to him.
What about Oscar and B-Hop? What were their thoughts? Obviously, two fighters. They got to see the fight. Whether I'm not sure if B-Hop was there live, but whether on tape or playback, yeah. What sort of words did they have for you?
I mean, you gotta stand to that. They're one of the same two guys that have fought the best of the best. Talking to them kind of afterwards, they know it's kind of part of the game, but it's still something that they see. Even for myself, they still seeing the potential in me. Where it's like, oh no, we still got something. So, ain't no kind of like love lost, but they would still, support me after the fight. That's what I'm saying. I'm excited to see what's kind of next for me in this journey.
So, what type of comeback are you looking for? Not putting you in that box. You are from Texas, though. Uh, you know, Earl is a no tune-up type of guy. So, are you looking for a softer touch than a Bekatir Mulatuliev, or would you take a stone cold Steve Nelson potentially on that undercard of Canelo and Crawford, since Nelson has so much love from Crawford, and Crawford has that connection with Atlas Sheik? Can you see that as a possible fight?
I didn't even really honestly even think about that but being a possibility. But being honest with you, man, I'm down for whatever, bro. Like, I'm the type of guy to take any of the tough fights. I'm not whatever my team say who I'm fighting. That's just honestly who I'm fighting. I'm not the guy that's gonna go back and forth saying, "Oh man, I don't want to fight that guy." If that's what's presented to me, that's what we're doing.
Have you watched him fight? Did you see his fight with Pacheco? And what do you think of that style matchup versus yours? Do you think it makes for a good fight to be on that undercard, or what?
I think it would honestly. And the fight with him and Pacheco was really good. I actually thought Nelson was doing really well in the big early rounds. I think he had got cut. I can't remember when. I think it kind of went downhill for him at that point. But I think Star Wars still a great fight. It's something I'm definitely be open to. If that is presented, and it's funny, man, you like a matchmaker yourself, because I didn't even think about that being a possibility. But I would love an opportunity like that.
I gotta ask, man. Has it been tough mentally from a depression standpoint? Cause like this was an eliminator. No matter how difficult or how much politics are involved in boxing, I just don't feel you couldn't be thinking like, fuck, I could have been a mandatory to Canelo. Whether it happens or not, you could have been a mandatory to Canelo, the most lucrative fight of your career. How are you dealing with that? Did you deal with depression because of that specifically and the loss? Or, how you taking it?
It was hard to process in the beginning because, like, as much as I'm very good mentally, right? Like, I have like little pockets, little moments where I'll be sitting with myself. Man, actually, on a plane ride over here, it was a moment that I had where I was going through old videos on my phone. And I'm like, man, fuck, and it hit me pretty heavy at that moment sometimes. But I'm always try to accept things to be what they are. That it is what it is. Like, me dwelling on the past isn't gonna do nothing for me now. So I always try to move on. And one thing I know in that fight, man, I always say, like, I trained my ass. I did everything I was supposed to do leading up to that moment. And in the moment I felt like I made the best decisions. Right. I'm obviously looking back on it like, damn, man, this and this and this and this I could have done differently. Um, But I do look on that. It's like, man, I missed out on like a lot of opportunities to really progress my career. But just you're talking about a one round difference, on doing something a little bit different. So yeah, it hurts, but I think ultimately I'm pretty strong headed. I don't like to dwell on things from the past. So I'm trying to just move on from it. I know it definitely is something that I do want to avenge and get back though. Because I think it is a fight that I should have won. Fight I did think that I still did win, but hopefully that comes across the table. I can avenge myself because I just don't. I'm not I just don't like losing though, and I think that kind of hurt a lot too. I wanted to win so bad, and I feel like that was something I still showed in that fight. That, man, no matter what I was getting hit with, bro, I was coming. I wanted to win, and so I didn't deal with no depression like that. But I think that last thing I want to say, I think the hard thing really about that fight too, it was kind of like a culmination of things because that fight happened. I was on my way home. My dog had died, and I was like, God damn! How the boy life know
What
how
was
to
he
just.
old? Was he old already?
He was old though. He
Okay.
was he was old. It just sucked I wasn't
Damn,
there, man.
bro.
I was like, how the boy life just know how to just kick you while
Kicking
you
you
Yeah,
down,
down.
dog. That's
but they say bad
is
things happen
shit.
in threes.
So just the combination of all that kind of at that moment was kind of.
You breaking up a little bit. I don't know if you could get it closer to the modem.
Yeah, let me go inside real quick.
So in the fifth and in the ninth, I feel like you had your most success. You would really dig into his body, trying to take him out. There's clips on the internet that the crowd was actually cheering your name. Did that affect the fight? Could you even hear it? It's something we always ask fighters because there's so much going on. You're focused. Were you able to hear people actually screaming,
Bro,
DFG?
it was a lot going on, but man, I had so many people there. I had a ridiculous amount of fans that came out to Vegas. Man, it was a big fight for me. I had so many people that came out, and I felt the love tonight. Honestly, even afterwards, man. Like after I went to the locker room and I was leaving the venue and stuff, man, I had a huge crowd of people that was there waiting on me. So it was a moment too in a fight where you take some fighters when they take their first loss. Sometimes I feel like everybody kind of abandoned them, but man, I had so much love after that. It was ridiculous. So I think that really kind of helped too in the moment because I didn't feel like I really lost anything. The people that was there are the ones that mattered the most to me. And so I didn't feel like I lost anything in that moment. And that's something you hear a lot, man. I heard someone talk about, you know, when you win, you get your phone blowing up, you get a million calls, a million texts. When you lose, he said he got like two missed calls and it was from his mom or something. But man, I had so many people there waiting on me, man, supporting me. So I think that kind of helped me with everything too. I just know I got a really solid, great support system.
So obviously, I'm no expert, but it was your first 12 rounder. Um, do you feel like that was it? You slightly gassed. You didn't have that experience in the 12 rounds, and is that something that you're already planning on working on, or you don't think that was the problem?
Nah, I don't think that was the issue at all. Like I said, I think most of the fight was just really just my ego, and you gotta understand too. Like that, those 12 rounds, I was pushing it. Like the pace of that was a lot different than any other fight. And so I don't think any of that is ever like really an issue to me. Like I said, I think the big issue of that fight was just my ego in the moment.
Yeah, do you guys watch tape after every fight? Because I mean, watching tape, man, you probably see the moments where you're like, "Fuck, I was going rogue there. I wasn't listening to my guys."
Man, there was one time in the fight, man. Like seriously, I remember, like I said, I was just walking straight in, and not say I didn't respect Beck. I respected Beck a lot, being a great fighter, he was a silver medalist and stuff. But I was stuck in my own head. I remember walking forward, boom, I get hit with like a jab, head went back. I was like, I was done. I stepped right forward, bam, hit with another jab again. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, come on, D. Looking on the outside, I'm like, you gotta be smarter than that, because there's a shots I was getting hit with that, knowing myself, my skills, I'll never get hit with those. And I pride myself on that too. But not really trying to take any unnecessary hits. That anybody that hit me, they gotta earn it. It's not just given. I just feel like I was giving up too many moments in the fight. Um, and so yeah, I ain't gonna lie, like sometimes watching the after be kind of hard to watch. I'm like, but
Not many fighters get 4 fights a year. You did have 4. Do you think that had anything to do with it? Was it too many training camps in a year?
nah, bro, I don't think nothing like that. I think that was honestly a blessing for me, being able to stay active and stay out of it. Because a lot of people when they get out of the gym, man, they lose a lot of steam, right? They get in the training camp trying to get back right. I think that was honestly a big blessing for me, honestly. Like I said, I don't think anything was wrong besides just mentally, right? Like just in the moment. It's the only thing I can look at and that was kind of my big, you know, downfall really in the fight. Um, But like I said, it was experience that I needed, and I think my confidence is actually a lot higher after that than it was before. Like leaving that fight, like I'm extremely confident that I'm gonna be a world champion. Like I feel like I can, and I knew I could say that then, but it's even more like solidified now in my mind.
Would you welcome a David Stevens fight, as that's a common opponent with Mulatayev? They went to decision, or just to build that rematch, or you don't want your career to be tied to Mulatayev? Like if you get the rematch, you get it, but you don't want this,
Again,
connection.
I always say that I don't really. It's not my job to pick and choose kind of my fights and who I'm fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But if that one was presented, me and him are pretty tight.
Oh,
We're
you and
pretty cool.
David?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
we cool. So it is a fight. I would, if there's another way around, would probably prefer that. But again, not my say or not my job to really do. So if that was presented, man, I have no choice.
All right. I got a couple questions from the people. Obviously, we got Donald in the Baton Rouge. This says, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Being a world champion, I meant that. I said that. I believe that. And I kind of want to still do a lot more stuff with the community. I'm trying to do stuff with the community now, and while I can, but I'm trying to be a big influence back home, even in Houston, for a lot of the kids coming up. So I would say those world champion for sure, and giving back to the community.
I got Chad out of Canada. He says, Darius, big fan in Canada. I thought Beck pushed you to a place we haven't seen yet. It was your best statement at 168, looking better in the laws than many fighters looking to win. I hope you keep pushing and build on this new foundation. So no real question.
Yeah, and I appreciate that too, brother. Like I said, I get a lot of love and support. Even though it's a loss. And, it's funny and stuff like this. You always hope you can learn these lessons with a win, though. I feel like I would have still learned the same thing if it would have swung the other way.
Word. Huang out of Houston says, I was a fan before, but now I'm 10 times more of a fan after your last fight. Thank you for letting your nuts hang and for taking on an opponent who we know and the capability they possess. Looking forward to seeing you in another big fight. So another one, no question, all love.
Appreciate it.
I got Benny Hinn that says, do you feel like you could have pushed the pace more in the fight with Beck? And what was the one thing he did well that surprised you in that fight on fight night?
No. Could I push the pace more? Probably not. I mean, I was in Beck's face the entire time. I didn't really give room to breathe. I'd say one thing that did surprise me the most, not gonna lie, was I honestly didn't think Beck had that in him. Honestly, like
Stamina
I thought,
wise.
yeah, I thought at a certain point I thought he was gonna fold and he was gonna crack. I think, and I was thinking that in the fight around like the fifth, sixth round, he started slowing down. I started picking up my output. My shots was landing a lot more, and I was like, "Yep, he's slowing down. He's breaking down." And he hit like a second win that kind of surprised me. Um, I thought in the fight, six round, I was like, okay, yeah, he's going downhill. He's breaking down, but he really didn't, man. He was able to still stay composed, man. He was still moving a lot. Um, and that surprised me the most. I didn't think he had that in him. And a lot of shots he was taking, he was able to keep coming back. So I was surprised he had nuts like that too.
I felt like you wanted to prove you had more power. Did you go into that fight thinking you had more power, or was it just that whole bully thing you talked about earlier where you wanted to bully the bully?
I wanted to bully the bully. I never really thought I had more power than him, but I definitely thought I could break him down. And I wanted to make a statement that way on like, no, this ain't what y'all thought. Y'all thought this guy was gonna bully me. So, and I think that's also too like when I look at the fight, you think of like he has that reputation, and I thought even me stripping that kind of away, that even the judges, the fans would really notice that, right? And that play a big impact on how rounds are scored. You know, like even in the first round, for instance, I seen the scorecard and like I think two judges gave him the first round, and not really much happened really in that round. But the whole time I was pushing him, like he was dancing around the ring. I was pushing him back, and I was like, "Dang, okay, well, I guess that didn't really get no like, I ain't get no credit really for that." So there's a lot of things like the scorecards are kind of all over the place. So sometimes it's hard for me trying to look at it like, man, what do the judges really want to see?
One of my live chatters right here now, Dwayne just said, not a bad fight for him against Cornflake. I know Cornflake kind of acted like he's retiring. Would you fight Thomas Lamana, or you think he's the one that just fought Jamal
If I
Charlo?
Charlo, it's crazy. I went to that fight and I got there. The fight started a little earlier than I thought. I had just missed that fight with him and Charlo. But yeah, again, I'm open to fight really anybody.
Word.
Whatever name presented. If that's presented, yeah, I have no problem fighting him.
I got Devin in Santa Ana. Call for the arena rematch. The biggest advantage he had prior to the fight was experience, and now you got that. He looked like he was going out to a body shot in the early rounds, but you stopped attacking there. You stop him, body shots, I'm a rematch. I don't know. He wrote that wrong, but I guess he means to say you'll stop him with
In the
body
rematch.
shots in the rematch.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, and this is where I gotta control my ego again. If there is another rematch, man, I gotta stop him. I feel like I don't know. Just my mentality is that, man. I can't let it go 12.
Ali and Dago, Darius, how far up in weight do you see yourself going?
Probably at least to light heavyweight. Light heavyweight at least for sure.
I got GP from Baltimore. Who wins? A Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney fight, and how?
Oh man, I ain't gonna lie. I really want that. I really want to see the Brian Norman Boots fight, man. It's just kind of hard, man. Like I could see like that fight looking like a Devin Haney and Regis fight,
Mm.
but then seeing how Devin Haney fought, against Ramirez, I'm like, man, I don't really know because he was just dancing around. He didn't look like it looked like he's still afraid to get hit. So I think for right now, that fight is perfect for Brian Norman. Um, when you really look at where Devin's at in his career was kind of how he's been unfolding, it's probably prime time for him to take a win like that. So
I got Quest
it
out
just
of
depends on what
Virginia.
Devin shows up.
I'm sorry, what?
I would say it just depends on what Devin shows up.
For sure. Quest out of Virginia says, "What's up, champ? Blind rank these boxers. So it's 5 boxers, 1 through 5. 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. Jamel. So again, positions too. Not each boxer gets ranked 1 through 5. You got it?
Okay, yeah.
So it's an order, 1 through 5. However you feel they deserve to be ranked.
All right.
First one is Jamal Charlo, and that's why it's blind.
I'm gonna go 5. I feel like there's probably a lot more better names on that list.
Beck the Bully.
Yeah, 5. All right.
So you got Charlo ahead of Beck the Bully, or you would have had it. You would have had him ahead.
All right, now I'm gonna go 4.
Diego Pacheco.
Okay, so these are 168 then. All right, then I'll go 2.
2. Jaime Munguia.
I'm gonna say 1. I'm gonna go 3.
And Billy.
I guess I'll go 1. All right, then I actually think at that list, I think Diego's the best one out of all of them.
So you would put Diego at 1.
Yeah, I put Diego. If I
Over
honestly have to go,
Jamal? Over Jamal with the experience? Former
yeah.
champ?
I think Diego beat Jamal.
Wow. Why? Because he's
Yeah,
not a natural
if
68, you think, or just youth?
yeah, and then it just kind of stuff going on outside the ring. He ain't really been fighting that much either. Like this was kind of comeback fight. I think Diego's really good. So if I had to do the list again, I'd probably do Diego, and Billy fight. Billy fight today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Friday.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
If I had to redo the list again, I'd probably do Diego 1. I'd probably do said Mugia and Billy.
Beck the Bully and Jamal.
Yeah, then I think Yeah, I think maybe Jamal too. Moogie at 3.
Over and
Becton,
Billy?
Becton and Billy. Yeah.
Wow.
Man, I just again, bro. I just see more from in Billy, but I think in Billy is very limited though, man.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, after I seen with Derevchenko, and Derevchenko was still doing well one handed. I was mad. I was mad at Percy Derevchenko that fight, but um, yeah, I'm excited. I think Selecki got a good chance tomorrow.
I got Will. He says, Will out of Charlotte. He says, good fight. Thought at worst it was a draw, but I did have my money on you. So I might have been watching with a little bias eye. What's your top 5 anime?
My God, that's what I'm talking. Where's the questions I live for here? All right, so I gotta go. Hey, he peeped the Naruto fit. Okay, top 5, man. I gotta go One Piece #1 for sure. That's my goat at all time. Do y'all know anything about anime?
Not me.
Dragon Ball Z. That's all I know.
That shit over
Uh,
my head.
all right, let me answer this real quick, because y'all ain't gonna care about this one. I'm gonna go One Piece #1, and there's some new ones that's out right now that's killing it. So, I gotta go Demon Slayer #2. Great storyline. Then I probably go Solo's leveling's killing right now, so I'll go that 3. My Hero 4. Then I need to go to OG one for #5. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with. I just go Naruto to be easy.
All right.
Yeah, I know
I
that
got.
one. My son watched that
You
one.
know
Naruto. Yeah,
that?
yeah. My son be watching that one.
Yeah. That's my uniform. My last fight was based on was on Naruto.
I got Octo that says, yo, champ, what's your favorite music artist and one movie we should watch?
Man, there's this guy I listen to right now. I don't think anybody really know about him. His name is Dro Kenji. I actually don't know much about him honestly, but I can't stop listening to his music though. So he kind of like an underground guy though. But somebody more popular though, J Cole, my favorite.
And a movie you recommend?
Who do I recommend? Shit. You know, movie I like, man. It's just hilarious. I think it's got good rewatchability. Is the newest Shaft. I'd probably say that one.
And the last one is from Treese. What's your thoughts on bare knuckle boxing?
I couldn't do it. I couldn't imagine getting punched bare knuckle, bro. I couldn't imagine. Honestly, I had that feeling of knuckles though, for real, for real. Like even with the gloves on, I'd be hurting my knuckles, hurting my hands. Um, I definitely couldn't do it. More power to the guys that do and can, but I've actually never watched. I do want to go to a bare knuckle event live though.
Well, champ, that's all the questions. I do appreciate your time. We wanted to get you back on. Obviously, we still supporting. We hoping you get back
Appreciate
in
that,
the
brother.
ring. And yeah, man, give out that social media for anybody that isn't following you can do so.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, but follow me much to my name at Darius Fulghum, DariusFulghum.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Darius Fulghum, we appreciate you. If you want to
Appreciate
call
you,
in,
champ.
now is the time.